Hello everybody.
Hey.
If you guys remember me, my name is Allie, of course. Since you're on this channel and on this page, I'm sure you guys know me. And if you don't, hello, my name is Allie.
My name is Amanda. I'm her friend.
Yes, we're friends. So we're going to talk about... such a fake laugh. That's so funny, Amanda. Back to you. So we're just here to talk about just several topics that I guess are just near and dear to our heart. And thankfully for me, and I'm assuming for Amanda as well, that we have friends in person who share not like just a very similar like views on lots of things. Like,
yeah, and we're in similar circumstances.
Exactly, because nothing sucks more than having a friend that you really get along with, but is like in a completely different like page in their life. Like they're just getting married, or they're not even married, or you know, like
they don't have
kids, or like one big thing about us is that we're vegan, so that's always fun to have vegan friends. And yeah, to eat more food. And then another thing that I have just personally have seen in the vegan community is that it's like cool to be vegan and like hate children. Not necessarily don't like them or like, oh, I don't like kids or they're not for me. Like literally hate kids. So I'm like, oh man.
Or think that like you're ruining the earth and ruining everything for everyone by having children.
Yeah, for sure. I guess, like I said, we're just going to do maybe a series of videos depending on how this turns out. Hopefully you guys enjoy them as much as we hopefully will enjoy making them. And we're just going to talk about different topics. So if at any point in time you guys have a topic that you'd like us to cover or just would like to hear our opinions on, because at the end of the day, this is all this is. It's just opinions. It's not facts. It's how me and Amanda feel about the world in our situations.
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
Big question that I have gotten several times is just raising your family vegan. And just when I say family, pretty much the kids, because luckily for both of us, both of our husbands are vegan as well. And then even if they weren't, it's kind of like they're an adult. And I mean, Raymond made me go vegan, so I can't talk much about this, but I know Amanda made her husband go vegan.
Yeah. So, but they make their own choices, obviously, and that's a little bit of a different, you know, situation. But obviously, how do we decide to raise our children vegan and why, and what's that like?
Yeah, for sure.
What might we do if they don't want to be vegan eventually?
Yeah, because that's like one thing that I just, like, once again, have noticed a lot, that a lot of people just talk about, like, pregnancy and birth and being vegan, which is totally like
valid.
It is valid, yeah, really valid and good stuff, and especially just making sure you get the right nutrients and you know, just making sure that your diet is, you know, a broad spectrum of not just like vegan mac and cheese, you know, and chips. But like even with an American, like your average American diet, like I'm sure we all know people who all they do is eat chicken nuggets all day. So you know, being vegan or not being vegan, like it doesn't mean that you're healthy or either way, because I'm sure there's people who do eat animal products who are much more healthier than both of us.
Yeah,
and
French fries are vegan, Oreos are vegan.
Exactly. So you know, so it's just one of those kind of things. But like one thing that I've noticed that a lot of people don't talk about is like, what would you do personally if your kid in a few years decides and comes to you that they're not vegan? Or they don't want to be vegan? What would you do?
Oh, I thought about it for sure. Obviously, it's the thing you think about, especially when you have kids. And obviously, all of our kids are smaller, and therefore we've made all the decisions for them up to this point. But I think when my daughter Astrid gets older and she decides that she wants to try it, or she would like to do it, or she doesn't care about animals enough to be a vegan or whatever, I think I would still enforce sounds bad, but enforce veganism in our home, because for me, truly, it's about not contributing to the animal agriculture industry with my dollar bills. So I would never buy things for my home or for her to eat that included animal products at all. So I would never buy meat for her to try or anything like that. But as far as if she wanted to make that choice for herself, I would say if you're at a friend's house or you're out and you have money that you've earned on your own somehow or something like that, then you could try it. But me personally, at home, we would still eat vegan. And that would just be something she has to deal with, I guess, you know? How about you?
Pretty much the same thing. Like it depends, because I do have, and like I said, once again, these are just my opinions and I'm only speaking about myself. I do have people who have older vegan children and they will make exceptions to the rule. It's like, oh, when we go out somewhere to like a friend's house or a party, then I won't stop them from eating something, which to me, I mean, I'm not at that point in my life yet, so this could change, but that's a big, I guess what you would say is no to me. But I mean, because it does hurt when your kids are at a party and they see all the children eating a cupcake or ice cream or a piece of cake, and you're all like, cheese, and you're like, no, none for you. And we try, or at least I try, to bring like a substitute cupcake or cake, so that way they don't feel left out. So I guess it just really depends on the age, but I'm assuming that they are at the age that, you know, they really truly do know what that means or can grasp it. So I would be, this is apparently a big no-no as well for a lot of parents, but I would show them videos and I would talk to them in depth, like, hey, dude, this is why we are doing this. And a lot of people don't agree with that. They're like, no, your kids are too young or they're too small, you're going to scar them. I'm like, but they need to know the truth. You know?
And I agree. Not to over with my voice, but yeah, no, I totally agree. Astrid likes to already, my daughter's 3, she likes to make little, I mean, she's inundated with meat eating and animal product eating with TV shows and books and things like that. You know, you can't filter all of it out. And
especially eggs. I don't know what it is with eggs.
Eggs. That's the big one. A situation where I had to basically like be a little more real with Astrid came up because she loves to talk about eggs and chicken and stuff like that. And sometimes when we eat fake meat, if we get the little like chicken patties with a K, you know, we call them chicken patties or something. And so I've tried to be more mindful about not calling it chicken or something like that because it's confusing for her, obviously. But so she makes little comments sometimes about wanting to eat chicken or to eat eggs, and I've had to explain to her that we don't eat that, and she knows that we're vegan and we don't eat animals, and you know, she's said that of her own volition before, like, you know, to other people and stuff. But she talked about wanting to eat chicken, and I was like, oh, we don't want to eat chickens. And she was like, yeah, I do want to eat chicken. And I was like, no. And I had to tell her, you know, I was like, if you eat a chicken, you have to hurt a chicken and you have to kill it. And that's how you eat chickens. You have to hurt them and kill them.
Yeah.
And honestly, even though some people, I think, yeah, like it's taboo, like, oh, to talk to your kids in that way or just talk about killing things or whatever, you know, I've already had to discuss, like, you know, my mom's dog who died with her, or dead bugs, you know, we found a dead lizard on the ground, so she's already, you know, sort of familiar with that idea of, like, what death is a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's the truth. I don't think it's necessary to shelter your kids from real life, and especially when you are trying to, like, validate.
It sounds like a word. Validate.
Validate. I was thinking validity and validate. Validate the reasons why you're doing something. I don't want to be a person who just pushes something on my kid without really explaining to them why. You know. So
Exactly.
I think it's okay to be a little real. But I've also had some instances too with like I'm lucky, thankfully, that my sister is also vegan, and she has 3 children who are like teenagers, and one of them is vegan. But in the past, I've shown them videos of things. You know, they were older, obviously. They were like 12, you know, ish and stuff like that. But I've showed them videos, and I mean, it's real life. It's what happens. And again, just trying to, you know, make them understand why you made a decision instead of just saying like, this is the decision we've made and that's it, you know.
Exactly. And like I said, I mean, like, assuming that they are older and I can show them those videos, I think it's so cute because like Astrid says that, like, you know, she's vegan and she knows that I feel, even though I wanted it for my own kids, I don't know if like maybe they just don't get it, or maybe I just don't talk about it that much, but I feel like they don't realize that like food can come from animals. And I'm also very like, so like what you said, I'm very guilty of like calling it a hot dog or calling it chicken. Oh, we're gonna eat burgers. You want to eat fish? You want to eat hot dog? And it's funny because like, to me, obviously, I know it's vegan fish or vegan hot dogs or vegan whatever, but like to the kids, I'm like, I really got to start being much more mindful about that, because one day they won't be with me all the time, and like someone's gonna be like, hey kid, you want a hot dog? And he's like, yeah, I eat hot dogs all the time with my mom, and you know, it's not like animal hot dogs.
Because we like to go to our local library a lot, and they have a lot of play food, and she loves that. Oh, it's Belle, yeah. It's Belle.
Yeah, so as you can see, we got nothing but children running around here.
It's real life.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, if like I'm pretty much kind of dead set with Amanda. Like if they do decide that I show them, I talk to them why we don't do it, how it affects the environment, the animals, the people, and they still want to do it, then like it's their body at the end of the day, and if they feel comfortable with the conscious decision that they've made, then it's on them basically. You can only do so much to raise your child in the best way that you think you're raising them. So, but it's the exact same thing. Like, I would not pay for it. I would not have it at the house if they're out somewhere and someone else wants to buy it for them, which for whatever reason, I don't know why, but family loves saying that. They're like, oh, when he's out with me, I'm going to buy him a hamburger. I'm like, shit, buy me a hamburger. I'm hungry. Not obviously a vegan hamburger, but I don't know. So if it's something like that, then I'd be okay with it. But I really do think until a certain age when they really can grasp it, when I can show them those videos, because obviously like if Vladdy was a little bit more vocal and was like, I want to eat chicken, I don't know if I don't know, maybe I would, who knows, I guess because I'm not there, so I don't really know. I'm like, would I show him videos? But I feel like if he was asking for it, then obviously he's like maybe old enough, I don't know. So.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, there's already been instances where I've showed Astrid things just to explain something further, and I think obviously if it's not going to like traumatize them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have to see all of it, but maybe, I mean, I think it's, like I said, it's just important for them to understand the reasons behind it. So if you can show them something that is sort of age appropriate and stuff like that, but again, I don't think sheltering or pretending like something doesn't happen or doesn't exist is the right way to go either,
exactly. Like you just don't show up to the store and like, oh look, it's chicken. It was never alive, or it's just. And I think that's another really weird thing. I didn't realize that it actually happened, because as a vegan, we've been vegan for a few years now. I didn't realize that there's so much of disassociation with people's food, like even with adults too. Like you'll talk to somebody about it, like I don't know. Fun fact: when I got my chickens, I originally thought about getting a type of chicken by the name of a broiler chicken, and I was literally thinking about raising them and like slaughtering them and eating them. Obviously this was way before, well not way before we went vegan. We were vegan like a few months after that, but that's one thing I wanted, and Raymond didn't want basically the slaughter of animals happening in his backyard, so I'm like, okay. But it's so funny because I would tell people that and they would get disgusted. These are people who eat meat, and they're like, oh my god, why would you do that? I'm like, what do you mean why? And they're like, well, why would you do that? I'm like, dude, this chicken, if I do it, I'm like, I can assure you he's going to be taken care of. At the end of the day, I don't think anybody wants to die, but if someone's going to die, I would rather it go quickly.
Beforehand.
Exactly. And this is not condoning any animal eating. I'm just talking, like I said, like they would be taken much better care of. They're going to be able to run around. They'd be able to like live not their life, obviously, because I would be ending it to eat them. But in retrospect, in comparisons to your average factory farm hen, would live so much a better life. And I would know, like, if the hen got sick, obviously I wouldn't eat her, or if she was like practically dead, I still wouldn't. Yes, darling. I wouldn't have, slaughtered her still for human consumption. But some people think that's just so disgusting, and even like something as simple as eggs too. Because my hens for a while were laying eggs, and I would offer them to people, and they thought that was dirty. I'm like, what do you mean dirty? Like, what do you mean? Like, it comes out of a chicken's butt. I'm like, dude, the eggs you eat, unless they, are growing eggs in petri dishes. Yeah, exactly. And it's so crazy because it's just like such a big disconnect. It's like for whatever reason you think the stuff that you purchase at a store is for whatever reason much more cleanlier and like healthier, or
it definitely is not.
And it isn't. Like for sure it isn't. So that's just really weird. So that is on that topic. Oh, I hope you guys liked this video. We're just talking, just kind of rambling. This is our first video of this kind of sort. If you guys have any, like I said, any topics or anything you guys would want to discuss, feel free to leave it down. You want to say goodbye to everybody?
Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah.